Well, hello there. So, it's Sunday. It's 4 p.m., which means it is time for coffee, probably, but also time for another live stream. So, today we don't have a 15-hour 3D printer build. I've actually got the last two live streams results right here. We got the Prusa MK2 or i3 MK2 and the Atom 3D right there. So, those are not going to be the main subjects of today's stream. Today we are going to look at the Printr Element. So if you know Octoprint, if you know that Raspberry Pi software that allows you to connect your 3D printer to Wi-Fi and control it through any browser on your home network, printer or the Printr Element is another physical piece of hardware that allows you to connect your printer to Wi-Fi and then control it from anywhere on the world. So they've got a cloud approach where you go through the Formide portal and slice your files in the cloud and organize your files in the cloud and basically manage your entire 3D printer fleet from their one central platform. So they sent me one of their elements, which is like the dedicated hardware platform. It has a USB power in and a USB out, and we are going to try a few different things. So we're going to try to run a single printer from it. We're going to try to run two printers at the same time from it, which should work. We're going to try USB webcams. I got a few different ones here, which you can barely see probably. And yeah, just try out how the web slicing works, how the entire interface works out, and how the first user experience is. Because, you know, as you can see, this box is still completely sealed. I've looked into the Formide web interface, which is on formide.com. You can try it out, it's free. The interface is free, as is the client software. So theoretically, you could install it on your own Raspberry Pi and try out the entire thing. But what we've got today is like the plug and play experience that gives you the entire software experience without having to set up anything on your own. So this is plug and play. This is, you know, your ready-made sort of product. So what we are going to do is just cut in. So like I said, I haven't looked into what's in here. If I can find the right buttons. There we go. So yeah, let's just try this out. As always, hello to chat. Feel free to ask questions live. I'll try to answer them live, and I've tried to get someone from Printr in the chat as well. So if you've got any specific questions on the element or on the Formide software, feel free to do that in chat, and we'll see if someone from Printr will be able to answer them. That's not a whole lot. Well, a box within a box. We still don't know what's in the box. So the Element is a pretty stylish overall product, I'd say. So if you look at their website, it's printr.com. They're from the Netherlands. They're a startup, a 2-year-old startup with a 10-man team, all like younger than 30. So they're like super, you know, startup-y, I guess. Yeah, Nightbot should be in chat again. So yeah, if just to clear up that confusion from last time, Nightbot is a automated moderation and, you know, bot thing that I set up. Get started, okay, to help me keep chat in check a bit. So the Element from Printr. Yes, it's another one of those cool name things where you leave out the E, so it's not printer, so it's Printr. So I don't know why they're doing that, but I guess it sounds cool. I guess it's the same reason Printrbot is doing it. Okay, the Element. There we go. So let's zoom that in, since we don't have that big of a box. And for this stream, I've actually flipped the camera around, so you guys kind of see my perspective and not the upside down version. So it doesn't look like this sleeve is coming off, so I'll just have to cut that off. Probably, if there's someone from Printr here they're probably gonna scold me for not unboxing it the right way, but hey, that's what it's all about. It's about getting the manufacturer panicking and freaking out about all the things that we're doing wrong. So let's check what they're saying here. So it's plug and play, nothing to install, just power on your 3D printer, open your browser and get started. And this is the browser I'm going to be using, you know, Nexus tablet, because I can't really use the Wi-Fi on the on my laptop since that is handling the entire stream, and that will kind of probably mess with a few things. Creation management platform, yes, multiple users to control and monitor various printers and projects at once. So it is intended for a multi-user environment. So you don't just have your own printer, you actually can share your printer and make it available to anyone else, and they just send the STL files and your printer starts working on them. Slicer friendly, so you can upload G-code or you can upload STLs and then slice them in the cloud, like I mentioned. On and offline functionality, so you can connect through the Formide platform and through your local network as well. One element to rule them all. Yeah, there's the logo, that's how it's spelled. How much does it cost? I think it's $199 including tax. So that includes the element itself, which is this thing, and it includes like access to Formide, but that of course is like I mentioned, it's free for everyone. Everyone can sign up and use it for their own projects without paying for anything for right now. So there it is. It is a relatively small box right there. So let's just grab a Raspberry Pi for reference. So there's the Pi. There's the element. So very similar size. Of course, it's got this bulky crystal-like case on there. It's not 3D printed. It's injection molded. And the hardware in here is actually relatively simple to what you're getting in a Raspberry Pi. It's a 800. See, Nightbot is working. Yay! So it's an 800 megahertz, a 8-core, I believe. So it might be a bit more recent hardware than what's in the Raspberry Pi. You've got one USB host port right there, and then you've got the micro USB power input right there, just like a Raspberry Pi, but of course pre-configured. That's the intent there. So let's see if there's anything else in here. Oh yeah, I can feel something. So okay, that's a big bag. So one USB cable. So I'm surprised that we're not getting a power supply here, which means I will have to actually pick up a power supply. I'm just going to be using my phone charger. That's it. USB cable. That's all the accessories you get basically. That's trash. That's trash. Other way. So yeah, very, very compact hardware. The PCB does follow the contour of the crystal. You can kind of see it shining through. Tips aren't showing, Tom. Why are tips not showing? Tips should be showing. That sucks. Why are tips not showing? Let's see if we can get the demo to play. So tips should be showing. I don't know. Let's give you guys a menu shout out. So as always, you can tip me on streamtip.com. The link is in the video description. So that's from today. Yeah, Spike Kent. So thanks for your $20 tip. Thank you so much for giving us. Thank you so much for all you give us, Tom. Bought the original Prusa i2 MK kit on your recommendation from the live stream. It's an awesome machine. Yes, it is a very, very awesome machine. And I've been getting loads and loads of use out of it. It's a beast. Case looks split. At the end, there is a bit of a hole right there. I don't think I'm going to be cracking this open because there's not too much exciting to see here. It does have integrated Wi-Fi, so I've actually set up a second access point right outside the door so we don't get any Wi-Fi reception issues. Because I know Wi-Fi is sort of flaky, as you guys saw in the very first stream we did, which was partially running off of Wi-Fi. So, since we are apparently yeah, since they are not including a, a USB power supply, which is kind of weird at $200 to be totally honest there. I'm going to grab a USB power supply and plug that in manually, and for that I will be right back. We're back. Okay, I just saw it. Another tip coming in. Christoph H, thanks for that. That was a $10 donation. No message. Thank you. So we got a power supply. This is a relatively beefy 2.1 amp charger plus a super long wire there. Hey Angus, how you doing? What time is it in Australia? It must be like midnight. Is it past midnight? I have no idea how time zones work. Okay, that's plugged in. We've got power. So, what's kind of unexciting is the single USB host port right there. So I do have a switch sitting ready over there. For now, let's just plug this in and get it going. There we go. So there's the green light, and it's gone. Huh? Midnight, yeah. That's awesome. Okay, so we had a quick flash of green light, and now the green light is gone. There it is. It's back. So it's shining through on both sides. There you go. Okay, so I guess that means we are ready to connect or to get the setup going. So I'm going to switch over to screen cap and show you what the interface looks like. Should we do Chrome? Should we do Firefox? Let's do Firefox because I tried it in that. Oh, okay, well, hold on. We can't do it on the laptop. Like I said, we actually do have to do it on the tablet because if we, like I said, if we connect the laptop to it, then we will run into a bit of trouble with the stream breaking up. So let's head into Wi-Fi right there. Let's get that a bit bigger. There we go. And focus that maybe. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, the element A0BD61, so that's like a random Wi-Fi you can connect to. First we're gonna, let's get to this one. First we're gonna head over to formide.com and get the setup process going. So there we go. So I've already had that open up. So it's formide.com and it sends you over to a login screen. Regular procedure. You can log in with Facebook, Google, or make an account. I'm just going to log in with Google. I've already done that beforehand, so it doesn't ask me for any sort of extra account permissions. It just does the regular get your email address and that's it. It's plenty bright at night. I believe that, but if the light is bothering you if this light is bothering you at night, I think the noise from your 3D printer would also kind of be bothering you. Okay, so Setup Assistant, welcome to Formide. After buying an element, printer with Formide support. How to English? After buying an element, printer with Formide support or installing a manual version to complete the... okay. Now I get it. Okay, let's get started here. So set up your first device. Connect the element to a power supply using the micro USB cable. That came with the element. We're not using that. We're using a different one. On your computer, connect to the Wi-Fi network the element XXX. Then continue to the next step. So we are going to do that on this computer, basically. So over to Wi-Fi and connect to the Element Wi-Fi. So this right now is acting as a Wi-Fi access point, and should take us to the next step in the setup process right there. Why am I doing it? It's $199. So the thing is, not everyone is comfortable with Octoprint. It's still a manual setup. It's still like, you know, not plug and play. It doesn't have the web functionality, and Gina is actually, you know, keen on pointing out that web functionality she isn't really comfortable with yet, because, you know, it's a safety risk if it's not super perfectly implemented when somebody else can control your printer from remote. That's what the Element offers over a solution like Octoprint. It's plug and play, and it's got that web and sharing functionality already included. So I'm going to connect to the Open WRT. That's my extra access point, like I said, that I set up. It doesn't have any encryption, so okay. So apparently connecting to an open Wi-Fi is not supported, so I'm just going to connect to my regular Wi-Fi and hide the password from you guys from it for a second. There we go. Connecting. So obviously right now it's disconnecting from, so it's switching from access point mode to client mode, so, and then back. So that looks like we are connected properly. Device found. Okay, so the tablet reconnected to the regular Wi-Fi. There we go. It's on the network, and the device is also on the network. So both are. Don't want to save that. Both are connected. Both are set up at this point. Okay. You can connect to the open networks when you've updated the Element. Okay, so that's a bug right now, and that's also the other feature of the Element. It's a set platform. It's not like you can use a Raspberry Pi 1, 2, 3 or install it in any other Linux box. It's a fixed hardware set which the manufacturer kind of has control over, and will keep updated for you over the air and over the time as you keep using it. So far so good, no magic smoke. Yes, that is always great. Okay, I think I'm gonna switch over to the laptop next up, and that means I can use the same Google login and just switch over there and give you a nice clean screen cap, because this isn't really comfortable, especially once we have to configure some G-code for the machines right there. So let's get this out of the way. And like I said, I've prepared a USB hub just in case we need it. I've also got a power supply for the USB hub. So I'm gonna connect everything to this guy before we get started, you know, printing stuff or setting stuff up. Wow, that's tight. Just so that we don't have to unplug the printer to reconnect the hub or anything. All right, there's the hub. Let's start with a Prusa MK2. Since I feel like a Cartesian machine should be a easier start compared to going straight up to the Delta. Okay, there's our USB. Let's plug that in. That's also a pretty tight fit. I haven't actually plugged anything into that USB port yet. Okay, so the Prusa is powered up and it should be connected to the Element through the USB hub, which isn't really kind of janky in there, but that's okay. Let's switch over to the screen cap and continue from there on out. So new window and right there. Okay, so what you can see right now is Dizzingoff actually sent me a few of his files for testing purposes. I'd call it for torture purposes, because let's be honest, that the files he makes are awesome, but they are super hard to print. Yeah, let's see if we can actually torture one of the machines with one of his files already. Okay, so format login again. We're just going to use the same Google account, and it should have the element showing up, ready to go, ready to add a printer. Yeah, so the Formide interface. Let's just turn off that camera for a second. The Formide interface is currently free to use for anyone, as well as the client is open source. It's a GPL licensed software client that runs on, of course, on the Element itself, but on any Raspberry Pi Linux as well. So if you want, you could set up an Element-like setup yourself with the hardware you already have. Though the web interface is always going to be bound to, unless you rewrite the client, of course, the web interface is going to be bound to the Formide platform. All right, so what I've already noticed is the pre-configured printers aren't really that complete yet. So if I type in Prusa, it does suggest a B Prusa or the Prusa i3 Plus, both of which are totally not in the exact same machine I have. So I'm just going to start with this one, and well, let's see if we can. Yeah, there we go. So we've got the base settings from the Prusa i3 Plus, and then we can go ahead and modify it. I think this one is a bit wider. Let's just do 250. I actually have to use a numpad. Let's just name that Prusa MK2. It has a heated bed, it has a single extruder, it has a 400 micron nozzle diameter plus 1750 micron filament diameter. Okay, so single extruder. It does have dual extruder support. That has been recently added. Printer not detected. Okay. Let's first detect it, so let's go back and detect that. Apparently not. There is no detect, so we're going to do that in a second. And we're just going to edit that to detect the Mark II, because it is plugged in. It should be plugged in. The USB switch I know works. So let's add over here. So we've got the five father. The elements do get randomly assigned names. Oh yeah, printer. Let's get printer modded. There we go. The elements do get randomly assigned names, just so you don't confuse them. Let's see. So there we go. There's the user management. You just add a email and then share that entire element with other people as well. But let's see how we can. Oh, okay. So we got two configure. Let's get this one out of the way. And let's see if we can connect this with the USB port. It is connected to the USB hub, but it is, well, five father, there we go, okay. And there's our serial port. So as you can tell, this is a Linux-based system, and that's just the virtual USB port that you can see in dev, basically, in that exact path. So it's actually already showing temperatures over here, 28, 28. That's through the USB connection, of course. And while we are in here, before we can start printing, we actually have to set up the start G-code. I'm guessing it does have. All right, Angus. See you later. Chat has frozen. No, it hasn't. We actually have to add in the start G-code, because the Prusa i3 does require a second G. Let me just double check that in the official Slick3R. Yeah, 210 for Y. It is 210 for Y, I believe. Yes. Kind of doesn't matter. 200 should be close enough. So let's just check this G code that the Prusa i3-MK2 comes with. So it does G28W, and then it does G80, just to make sure we're not messing anything up. And this is the priming G code down here. We're not going to copy that in. Should be good enough like that. So G28W, hoping I didn't mess up with mess the cameras. And then do a G80 after that to do the mesh auto bed leveling. So it goes to 5 millimeters. It does a set to metric, I believe that is. Reset the extruder. Sets to relative or something like that. I don't know all the G codes by heart. Then resets the extruder again, and we should be good to go. Then in the end here, it does turn off the extruder heat, but we're also going to, well, we're just going to see what it does, if it does automatically have to, if it does automatically add the bed off G code to that as well. So that looks like it's good to go. Let's just change it to 210 because people will keep complaining. I think Z is also not, Z is also not perfectly spot on. So should be good, should be good. Let's save that. There we go. There's a bit of an extra webcam for you, but it is on top of what we're seeing on the on the screen cap. Yes, Printer, you can post links now. You can see that blue bar next to your name. That means there is mod status for you now. So you should be able to post links and do whatever else you want to do in chat. Yeah, okay, so the printer is configured. Let's head over to slice profiles. I guess that there would have been the assistant that we skipped on the tablet. There would have been the assistant that guides us through all this stuff, but we're just going to go through them manually and set them up one by one. So there's a Felix Pro 1 normal slice profile. We're just going to quickly go through these settings and see if they make sense. I'm going to bump that down to 15% infill, that makes sense. Then splitting, full speed layer, minimal speed, maximum speed, yeah, smart mode. What is smart mode? Increase the fan speed when layer printing is too fast. That makes sense, let's put that on. I guess the settings are sort of somewhere reasonable for now. Baseline width, so that's first layer width and height. And you can see that there are a lot of settings you can change here. You know, basically everything that Acura or Slick3R make available to you. I haven't really dug into what the sort of differences between this and the regular Acura and Slick3R slices are, but it looks like, you know, you've got plenty of settings right there. JSON advanced settings. We're just going to save that. We're going to call that good for now. And I guess one more is to add materials. So the settings are split up into materials, printers, and slicing profiles. So you can mix and match materials with different printers if you set it up that way. Let's just bump that down to 215 maybe, because we do have a relatively good PLA in here. It's Prusa's own PLA in silver or gray. Generic PLA makes sense. So as you can see, it's got a whole lot of features and configuration options in there that do really, you know, give you a lot of control over what you're doing. So yeah, printer right there. Let's see if we can, does that change it? That's the edit. I'm looking for the manage library print. Okay, I guess it's over here. There we go. Okay, Prusa i3-MK2. So we actually get live controls over the machine. So let's just try those out if they work and turn on the B cam for that. Let's just see. Let's do home all axes. That makes sense. And there we go. So this command doesn't just go through Wi-Fi from the laptop to the router to the element. It actually goes to the Formide servers, gets processed there, and then gets sent back to the element. And that's hitting the home point. That's good. Okay, and it does the G80 as well, which is cool. Preheat the extruder. Yes, before we print, we should preheat the extruder. We're just gonna see what the katana slicer adds in front of the G code we set up on its own. There we are, parked and ready to go. Of course, we're gonna home this before the print when the extruder is actually hooked up. So right now we are, I guess, just gonna start a print. Like I said, we've got the gray PLA loaded in already, and I think, you know, things like loading filament and you know, doing printer maintenance. If you have an LCD, you're probably better off doing that on the LCD because it's a bit more direct. It's a bit faster to do that. And you know, as good as the web interface is, if you have an LCD, that's always, you know, a bit quicker, I feel. So let's just add something to the queue here. Let me know, chat. Should we go straight for the dicing off prints, or should we just go with something simple like a little frog, for example? Because I do have a few different files from dicing off here. The lava vase, I think, if we scale that down, should be relatively nice to use. Which I think we're gonna go for it. It is still a relatively simple print. Go for the Pikachu. Well, go for a print big one. So the thing is, this is, like I said, this is not gonna be a 15-hour stream. I can do that every Sunday. So we do have to go for something that's like it's like an hour long maybe. So you know what? I'm just gonna go for the lava vase. That should be somewhat okay to print and to scale down. So this is a lots of curse. This is actually, you know, it's not a torture test for the printer itself yet, but it is a 25 megabytes file, so it does have lots and lots of polygons, and will stress how fast the element can actually send those to the printer over the USB serial connection, and you know, probably stress out the CPU a bit as well. We're just gonna try that. Pikachu has like 20 polygons. This thing has like 2.5 million roughly. And of course, while that is printing, we will also try to add the second printer and try to add a webcam, because you can connect webcams to this thing. Any webcam supported by Linux, just any webcam that is supported by the Video for Linux 2, which is the most current thing. I've got two different ones. I've got a ancient. Let me just grab those. So I've got an ancient Logitech cam, which is like before the times webcams were cool. I know this thing does have a bit of trouble with the Video for Linux, and I also have a Logitech C170, which should be supported as far as I know. No, we don't want to rename that. Okay, so it looks like Firefox wants to freeze up. Let's just keep that going. So it's saying processing file right now. There we go. There is our preview for the lava vase. Can we color that? But we do get a WebGL 3D preview. Wow, that perspective. Okay, that's the file, and well, let's see. So let's add it to our library now. We do have a local library of files that we upload to Formide, which is just, you know, your own STLs, or there's also a online model repository, basically powered by 3D. What's that? 3DL. And as far as I know, this thing just grabs files from Thingiverse or from Take About Stop This. Okay, so that's obviously a Thingiverse file right there. grabs files on there. You have that integrated, so you don't need to download and re-upload the files from that on out. So move the second window down right. Yeah, I've removed that, so we should be good to go. Don't want to block your view there. So let's say slice on this lava vase. Enter a print job name. Okay, so the WebGL preview here is loading and that's freezing up the browser. I'm hoping it's not crashing the stream. It is crashing Firefox because obviously it's downloading the full 3D file again. Let's keep that going. Let's see how it does. There we go. Okay, so there's our file, and as far as I know, we can also change bed. No, we should be able to. There we go. Okay, so there's your commands that you can, your usual slicer placement commands. So, auto center, scale, rotate, all the usual things, and I'm actually going to scale this thing down to 0. Whoa! I just muted myself? No. Okay. I keep forgetting to use the right buttons there. 0.2, I believe. 2. Okay. I should have used the all. Let's do the all. So it scales evenly. 0.2. There we go. That's a cute little print right there. Okay, put on bed. It is on bed. I think it also does that automatically. So we've got the printer selected. It is online. That is good. We've got the wrong print profile, but should work kind of profile there, and generic PLA. Let's see what we're getting with advanced. Yeah, so in advanced you can just make quick override changes to your print settings, like add a skirt, raft, brim, support material, change the temperature, just for this single print. So you don't actually have to edit the print profile. You actually you can override those just for that one print, which I kind of like. I don't like how Cura handle is where you have to actually create a new profile or override your current profile and then change it back every time. So let's just, okay, so that's the model ID up there. Let's just slice this thing and see how long it takes. Where's my buttons there? I've actually tried a few files on my local Cura install, and this exact one takes about a minute to slice on this laptop, which is a regular i5 dual core, so it's nothing too fancy. Well, let's see how we're doing. So printers. Print Q. Okay, so that's not showing up yet. I guess that is still slicing. And all we can do for now is to wait and have that finish. So on the discussion of CAD profiles or CAD tools I'm going to use for a start to finish beginner stream sort of thing that was planned for today, but I didn't have the time to prepare for that. I was going to use 123D design, basically a super simple, not parametric, but CAD tool, a tool that works like a full-blown CAD software, but gives you that bit of beginner friendliness with it. Double click the model in your library. Let's double click that. Okay, slice history. There you go, so the slicing is done. You guys are saying Fusion instead. Fusion seems like a much bigger tool for that, and I do want to keep it kind of beginner friendly, because when you are explaining the basic process of idea to 3D file to STL to G-code to final print with everything that's going on the printer, I kind of don't think Fusion would be the right tool for that. It might be a bit too much. But for now, let's get back to the print here on Formide. So this is sliced. Apparently, we can view the G-code. We can actually download the G-code. So if you want to use Formide for, just a slicer replacement, there you go. You can do that as well. We're gonna try to view the G-code because they have an integrated G-code viewer. Let's just see how much that crashes. Because, like I said, this is a very complex. This is a very complex model, and it's going to take some time to process and to download again. So there you go. Yeah, Onshape. I've tried Onshape. When I tried it, it was still very buggy. Okay, it was still very buggy, but it is very close to SolidWorks from what I can tell. I like SolidWorks. It is a great tool, but it is also $80,000 CAD software, so it's not really accessible per se. Right? Okay, so there's the preview of the of our sliced file. It has the two brims right there. It's got the vase up top. That's looking good. So let's add that to the queue. I can view layer by layer when I click the pencil icon. Too late. But I mean, overall, it was looking good. It was looking like the model we were trying to print. So right now, downloading, I guess that is what it's doing right now. So expected print time 1 hour, 1 minute. Let's just add that back in and nope, that's webcam. Not much going on here, right? Yeah, Fusion Onshape. Onshape is similar to SolidWorks. Again, yes, that's true. Might be a bit too much too, but I have to really look back into how it's doing these days and also how Fusion is doing these days. So yeah, right here, downloading, that is still what it's doing. So I think it is a relatively large G-code. I do have a relatively good internet connection here. And it's not like giving me any sort of blinky indications right there. It's still just glowing green. So let's see if that changes in a few seconds here. We do add to queue. That is obviously the option to add a new print to the queue. We already have that. Yeah, and while we wait for that, for all of you who are like at coffee time right now, you know, sitting in your armchairs doing you know, having a little cake and coffee, here's to you guys, Volt Cola. For now, the print queue is still saying downloading, which is making me kind of nervous, but we'll see. It will change eventually, I guess. Let's just refresh that one more time. No Red Bull for Tom. It's pretty close. It's pretty close. But I mean, it doesn't taste like Red Bull. I hate the taste of Red Bull. Just to get that cleared out. Okay. So this is... What? Okay, reload. There you go. When is this live stream going to end? Probably in 2 hours or so. We are going to try all the things that we can do with the... Excuse me. We're going to try all the things that we can do with the element. And, you know, just start this print right now. So print. And it's going to ask me, is the print bed cleared? And it is. I've actually wiped it down beforehand with some ethanol. Ooh, that's not looking good. Let's just see if that catches up. I've already wiped it down. The filament is loaded. It should heat up on its own, and then, you know, do the entire process of getting the print out. Did I test the MK2 this week anymore? Yes, I've had these last 7 days or so. I've had the MK2, the other MK2, the Atom. You know, I've basically always had some sort of printer going, and I gotta say the MK2 is an awesome machine. Just to, you know, it is a very, very, wow, okay. It is a great machine. Unfortunately, well, Firefox kind of is gone now. Well, that's unfortunate. Which also means the chat window is gone and it's just now coming back. I don't know if I can blame Formide for that, because it shouldn't really be doing anything on the browser side, but well, let's just see how my PC is doing on RAM and CPU. Well, it's kind of, you know, it's got some CPU load on there. Let's try that again. Let's switch back to the screen cap. Do I do CNC? Sort of light CNC. I've got. If you go back and watch the review of the what's called Mendelmax 2, Mendelmax 3. Mendelmax 3, I did mention I was gonna convert it to a CNC if that, you know, if I was gonna convert a machine to CNC, it would be that one. And I've had a Dremel on that one for a while. Dremel continuously broke, so this is what I'm gonna add to it next. You know, just a 400 watt spindle, just to give it a bit of more light duty CNC capabilities. But for now, it looks like the hotkeys aren't working. Where are we doing? Why are the hotkeys not working? Hotkeys? Let's just click. Okay, yeah, this is working. This is running just off of the Element. And it seems like it is doing its job. And we can actually get the LCD messages on there as well. Bed heating, so that's the status update from the firmware. Yes, that's a eBay 400 watt spindle, the cheapest spindle that looked like a semi-decent thing, just for that sort of purpose. So that cable is too short. So what I'm going to do now, Proxon instead of a Dremel. I did say Dremel. It is a Proxon. It is it is actually the new Proxon with the dual bearings in there, but it still broke. It's still not made for routing, you know. So next up, we are going to try. Yes, I'm going to comment on the E3DV6 block and block sock in a second. But while this is printing, we're going to set up a webcam first. We're going to see how that works. So. I've got the USB power supply for the hub, because I don't know how much power we can get out of film is tangled. No, it's not. Well, it is. Okay. Thanks for that. Yeah, I don't know how much power the Element will be able to supply out of its little USB port right there, because it's already going through one USB cable, then through the Element, then through another USB cable, and I don't know how much voltage we've got left on the hub. So we're just going to use a second power supply, 1 amp, 5 volt, and use that as a backup. Just get a bit more. So I've got this power strip down here, just have to lift this up a bit. I feel like it might, there we go, jank that in there. Perfect. That might fall. What size spool is that? That is a 1 kilogram spool. It's got a relatively thin winding on there, so it ends up being relatively wide. So let's see how much crashes here. Oh, I just saw the display flickering. I'm hoping that didn't disconnect anything. Okay, it's still update device to enable. Okay, so I guess the remaining print time, let's just switch over to that. The remaining print time here, what did I just press? Oh, that's F5. Okay. the remaining print time is not displayed yet. Update device to enable, so I don't think I should be updating that while it prints, but yeah, that's blocked right now. But of course you can get the official updates from Printr onto Element to that functionality right there. Okay, so we've got the power supply plugged in. Let's see, webcam. Okay, let's plug in a webcam. Now, what I've been told is that the webcam actually does not work through the web interface, but only the local interface, which is what you'd use with something like Octoprint. There we go. Webcam is already glowing green, so that means it's picking up something already. Just put that here for now. And let's see if we can find the Formide on our local network. Wow. Is that? Oh, okay. So that did reset it. Plugging in that power supply did reset the printer, and it's now stuck. Let's see if we can cancel this. I mean, this is what's cool about doing stuff live, because you never know what you're running into, and for what it looks now, there is no easy control to stop the print or to restart the print, or in fact to cancel the print. This video is not sponsored. They simply sent me it, and I felt like the biggest thing about doing stuff live is getting your people's reaction on it and seeing what you think. Because when I make a review, it's just like, I take this thing, I get some alone time with it, and see what it does and how it performs and how it would fit in. Yes, it did get connected and disconnected, and I'm trying to find where I can cancel this print, but it doesn't look like I can actually cancel it right now. Yes, I was sent this unit to do a review, and while we're at it, I thought I could share the live experience with you guys. Okay. So let's find out if we can actually reset this print, which is something that should be sort of essential. Update device to enable, yeah. So manage is the wrong one right there. Print, and then we can do controls, but controls is only live controls. I guess can we control it right now? No, we can't, because a print is going on. Oh yes, we can. Update, there it was. Okay, so update device to enable. That kind of, I guess we found a bug or something, because if the printer stops or reconnects or anything, it's like stuck in this loop where it doesn't actually do anything. Let's say change anything. So yeah, there's a bit of glowy things going on, and it does progress updating. Okay, so apparently it does allow you to do that during a print, which is interesting. Of course, I mean, if you're doing this, you should know when a print is going on or not. Yeah, so you can cloud slice with Octoprint too. Octoprint does have Cura integration, to which you can upload your regular Cura profiles and have it sliced on the Pi itself. So it's not going through a web service like it is here with Formide. It's actually being sliced on your own Raspberry Pi on the device you have connected to your 3D printer. So depending on how big of a model you want to be slicing, or you try to slice, that might take a while actually. I haven't really benchmarked how fast Formide performs in that regard, but it did look rather quick. It was about as quick as my laptop did with Cura itself. Yes, and on the point of the hardware seems pricey for what it does. Yes, the hardware is obviously sold for much more than what the hardware itself is worth, because essentially you're getting a 50 cent USB cable, depends on whether you're talking to Brits or Americans. You're getting a USB cable and the element, which is a Raspberry Pi. Let's face it, it is basically the hardware of a Raspberry Pi, but you're not paying 200 euros for the hardware. Obviously, you are paying 200 euros for a bit for the hardware plus for the experience, for the plug and play, readily configured experience, and yeah, that's where the value is. Obviously, the hardware isn't special. If you want to set up Octoprint yourself, that is fine, but it is still a manual. It is still a manual process. It involves manually flashing an SD card and configuring networks and stuff on the Pi. There is, Octoprint is progressing and getting towards a plug and play. Wi-Fi, access point and Wi-Fi host mode setup like we have here, but it's as far as I know, it's not quite there yet. Yes, the price is more to support the software and service development, and you're also getting access to, which is free anyways, yeah, but you're also getting access to the Formide platform, which is a server-based service that doesn't have to run on your own hardware. It runs actually on their servers, plus the entire management stuff. That's of course where the value for the element is. Okay, so while we wait for that to update, there was a question. Yeah, I guess the easy setup for Octoprint, I kind of tried to improve. Yeah, there was a question on E3D, the new heater blocks and the new silicone insulation socks. So I've had one of these silicone insulation socks here. I've had a look at it, as well as the Prusa MK2 already has the new heater block on there. It doesn't come with a sock yet. I think don't quote me on that, but the MK2 might get upgraded to the actual sock-based heater block, I guess. It already does have the cartridge thermistor in there, and that is, I think, one of the best improvements to the E3D V6 yet. That's been like the one point everyone was complaining about how the thermistor is mounted, about how it's got that glass fiber sleeving that kind of really is finicky to get on the thermistor legs and then clamp it down with a screw. Now it's just a single cartridge, just like a cartridge heater. I don't think I can take it out of the other MK2 right now, but if you have a look at the live stream of that, you'll see how that looks. It's basically one hole for the heater cartridge and another small one for the thermistor, and that makes assembly much easier. And it also means you can easily plug in different temperature sensors. You can plug in the regular thermistor, the 100K thermistor. You can plug in a PT100. You can plug in a thermocouple. You can basically adapt it to whatever you want without having to redo the entire heater block. So yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's a good step in the very right direction. Yes, and it will fit on the unless there's a clearance problem, but it doesn't look like it. The socks should fit on the MK2 as well. It's not a sock. Well, it's called a sock, so yeah. It's still updating. That's taking quite a while. I can't really blame the internet connection here. Like I said, we've got a 50 Mbit down internet connection here, and the Wi-Fi is pretty good as well. So I guess that is just a flashing process that's going on right now. Let's switch back here. The device will come back online once updated. Oh, I I keep forgetting the hotkey for switching to the screen cap is actually F5, so that's doing a refresh as well. So let's see how that handles it. On the print queue part of the web interface, they have pause and stop printing buttons. Okay, so it didn't. Okay, so it looks like this one is just offline now, and the progress queue is gone. Yes, so Joachim, on the question, is it possible to use the slicer without having it connected to a printer? It does look like it. It does look a lot like it, because you can really go in here and set up printers independently from your devices, as it looks like right now. Even if you, I didn't brick it, even if you don't have a device connected. So if you go in manually, I don't want to mess with it right now, but there you go. If it doesn't have a element connected, you can actually go in here and just set it up without a device connected, as it looks like. Yep, it's updating as long as the light is blinking, and the light is still very much blinking right there. I like how the cameras are sort of in sync, but sort of not perfectly. Yes, boot instead of a sock. Right. So I guess we're waiting now. Were there any more questions that came up? Anyways, the vault cooler is pretty darn good, and it's nicely cold. That's always a good point. All right, did I try printing? Or try printing music? Did I try playing music? There is actually a whole bunch of music that you can play on your 3D printers. Of course, it has to be rendered to your exact machine, because steps per minute and stuff to get the notes perfectly right. But there are pretty sophisticated scripts out there that do like MIDI to G-code conversions for your 3D printers. You do still have to download it and run it on command line and stuff, but the option is there. I think on one of the early machines I did run a bit of music when the print was done, but I've never had like a printer that was that screamingly loud that it would actually make sense to have music that would be audible somewhere else. What I usually do instead of yeah, this is how the stream gets to 15 hours. What I like to do instead of doing audible cues is to have visual cues, to have an LED strip somewhere, RGB LED strip, control that through G-code, and just do like, red when it's heating, or green when it's printing, or white when it's printing, green when it's done, blue when it's cooled down, just the sequence as the print progresses. You can just take a quick look at it and see what stage it is at, and whether, you should even check the bed if it's already cooled down or not. And then, take the print off or not. Wait another second. Blinking is gone. Yes, it's dead, Jim. Okay, now it's blinking again. So I guess that's connecting. Does G-code music work with Delta printers? Yes, it does. It's the same setup. It has stepper motors, and every step is like a little tick. It does work with deltas, but you have to produce the G-code exactly for your delta, and it might not come out as a perfect consistent note, because the interpolation isn't like really perfectly linear. Right. There we go. Have I ever made a Core? Everyone keeps asking about Core XY. I do not understand that. What's so fascinating about Core XY machines? It's just another XY motion platform. It's not doing anything. It's not really revolutionary versus a regular Cartesian machine. Yeah, I don't get it. Okay, Five Father is back online. Aldersbach, Germany. That's the regular IP. regular IP position that's always incorrectly estimated. Let's see if we still have, where were we? Library, where's our print queue? It's probably on the print. There you go. Still have to get used to that. Okay, so the print is still in there. Let's try that again. It's still clean. Continue. You have both motors stationary. Well, you have both motors basically stationary on here as well. So, a bit of gunk on there, but shouldn't be a problem. You know, the only motor that's really in motion is the extruder motor right here, and the other ones are practically stationary, because this one here on the z-axis, it's not rubbing on against the atom. This one on the z-axis is practically stationary, the z motors as well as the y-axis. But print is not moving. Well, you can also you can do a core XY where the bed is moving. Not that that would make sense, but it's a possibility. You can, I mean, you can set it up either way. It has its, everything has its advantages and disadvantages. I don't know if the MakerBot, the MakerBot Cupcake, I think, had an entirely moving bed, as far as I remember, but it wasn't a Core XY. Okay, so we are heating again. So the bed is set to 60, it's at 40 degrees right now, so I guess you can see that over here. That is exactly what it shows on the LCD as well. Okay, and while that's going on, we've got the, okay, so we've got the webcam plugged in right there. Now let's find out where we can connect to the local element through the Ethernet without going through Wi-Fi. To be honest, I have not prepared for this. I have not prepared for how to look these things up. What I think I'm going to do is, printer was disconnecting. It's still connected. It was me plugging in the power to the USB hub. That's what disconnected it a second ago. It is still connecting, and it's got this little printer is heating section right there. Okay. I guess that's where we got stuck last time. Okay, now we have the pause and stop buttons right there. I either missed those a second ago, or they were still heating because it was like in a weird limbo state right there. Okay, I'm gonna hide the screen for it. Why my hotkeys are kind of messing up? There we go. Okay, you can see the printer. I'm gonna go into my router for a second and see what kind of IP address we got from the element. I was hoping it would show. Oh, you can't see the keyword anyways. Yay! I was hoping it would show like a local address or something. Doesn't look like it. There we go. So, network overview. Element, okay. See if we can get an IP address. So it's at 192.168. Let's just switch you guys over here. And of course it does the F5. So this thing is, let's just check that. It's 192.168.029. Does Wi-Fi, NBG. So let's just see what sort of interface we can get right there. None apparently. Okay, let's see. Printer is saying you can also access the local interface through the platform. If you go to manage devices, you will see the IP address. Yeah. Let's see if we can. We don't have Formide open anymore. Do you really show your IP in a live stream? It's just network IP. It's not like my internet connection's IP or anything. So port 8080. Okay, let's try that. 8080. I probably think this is way worse than my IP that I'm showing here. Ah, there we go. Okay. Okay, so by default it has a very generic login. I guess if you don't know about that, you're never gonna get that changed. So it's always gonna be exactly that on your local interface. Which, to be honest, I changed. That just really started. Oh yeah. Let's get you guys hold on. We've got a webcam. I got a new webcam. Haha. Which is like super bad, but better than nothing. There we go. So that just started skipping, or at least slowing down significantly. 1 second. That's the wrong webcam. I was actually going for not that one, but buttons, so many buttons, and turn that off. So where can we hinge it? We can probably, yeah. I don't have a webcam stand for this, but let's just keep it like that. You guys can sort of see it. Yeah, but it did really start slowing down a second. You could tell that once I loaded in the that looks weird. Once I loaded the web interface on the browser, this thing started running out of CPU really quickly. Do we have anything else where I can connect the webcam to? Probably not. I could grab like another 3D printer and just prop that up there. That could work. There we go. That's better. Huh? Okay, this stand really isn't that great, but there we go. That's awesome. Good for something. Yeah, for the spool holder, the cable is too close, too short. All right. So what do we try to do? Mini tripods. I've got one for the H4n, but I'm running out of them very quickly. Let's see. Manage device, and you can see every time the printer is basically stopped now. So every time I click something on screen, let me just switch you screen cap, and we still got the webcam going. So let's move this thing down here, and let's just try something. Let's see if you can head over to printers. That's sort of better, less profiles, and it stopped. So I'm still no printers connected. Well, that is interesting. Currently you have no printers connected on this account. That is interesting. Okay, so apparently you have, and the printer is completely stopped. There we go. Apparently you have a completely independent setup on the local element versus what you're seeing through the Formide cloud service. Oh wow. I'm still looking for any sort of webcam thing. I guess I'd have to connect a new 3D printer, but I don't really want to do that while we're printing, because it's slowing down a lot already. And I don't know how much this actually clashes with the with the Formide client. So as it looks like right now, the Formide client that's going through the cloud basically has no idea about what the local interface is doing that we're accessing right now. Yeah. Now obviously, since it is printing right now, there's it probably doesn't detect the serial port properly that the printer is connected to. Yeah. Manage, and obviously we don't get any sort of control for now, and the printer is stopped again. Now it's loading and now it's going again. We do get a bit of an overview of how much storage is used on the printer, but there doesn't seem to be any sort of sync between, sync function. Doesn't seem to be any sort of sync between the local interface and the format-based one. Now the question is, should we set up another 3D printer? I guess we should. Since the local interface seems to be blocked right now by Since the local interface seems to be blocked right now by the print happening through the Formide cloud. I'll set that on the tablet. I can't really do anything on the local interface, which would probably include what the entire webcam functionality is for. So again, like it was explained to me by Printer, the webcam functionality is only on that local interface that we just saw that you connect to through the IP. It's not yet on the Formide cloud because, you know, data and traffic and that sort of stuff. So I guess for now, this webcam we can disconnect because it's not going to do anything until this print is finished. Let's see if we can connect the Atom to the local one. That's probably more interesting than connecting it to the same Formide cloud service. So the Atom 3D is also set up and ready to go. I've loaded in some blue filament. The bed is clean, and it should be ready to rock. Let's see. Before I plug this in, I just want to say I have a feeling we might be crashing the print that's going on right now. Let's see. That is my USB hub's fault, probably, because even before I touched it, before I fully inserted it, it already crashed. So that is probably up to the USB hub. But while we're at it, let's check what we can do as far as recovering or canceling this print goes. So this one is the Atom 3D still doesn't have proper grounding, so yeah. Okay, that stopped. At least it moves the hot end out of the way, and it's already cooled down. What's interesting in here though is, I'm just gonna peel that off. What's interesting in here though is it looks like this webcam should have autofocus. It looks like there's some infill pattern on what should be a solid surface in there. That is quite the feature right there. Focus. As you guys can sort of see that this rectangular infill pattern right there. That shouldn't be on a top surface. That should be inside the print. Okay, let's try the local interface. Okay, unknown printer has been detected. Click setup to set up this printer. There we go. Menu is set up a printer. I cannot click this. Let's refresh that. And let's stay with a single printer for now. Let's unplug the MK2 and just stay with the Atom on the local one. So theoretically, I guess it should work to have the MK2 connected through Formide through the cloud, and then the Atom through the local interface. Yeah, I mean, not the best out-of-the-box experience. I mean, to be fair, I was kind of messing with it. I do have a cheap USB hub in between here. I did connect devices while it was printing, while it was doing its thing. So that the core experience of having, one single USB, one single 3D printer connected through USB, that works. That's out of the question. That works. It's the stuff that I try and try to go beyond what is your regular use that does break it. Okay, so it's not detecting any 3D printers as it seems. So it's suggesting to use the full power of the cloud and go through Formide, which is not what we want to do right now. $20 max. Yes, the hardware is worth $20 max. That is, well, maybe 30. Maybe, but like I said, it's not the hardware you're paying for. You're paying for the Formide cloud plus a software that's attached to it. So yeah, it's like I said, they're even listing the specs on their website. It's an 800 megahertz A8 CPU, so plus 500 megabytes of RAM. So roughly what you're getting on a Raspberry Pi. Yeah, of course, it's not really anything spectacular. So what I'm gonna do is completely hard reset the element. That's completely unplugged. Let's replug that and see how far we get. There we go. So it is. Yeah, this is I guess the hardest reset you can do. It's a Linux-based system, but I suppose it's sort of made for being restarted, for being unplugged, because there really is no shutdown functionality as you'd get in Octoprint at times. Try swapping out for a Pi with Octoprint. Like I said, it's different applications. I love Octoprint, but I can also see where the element makes sense. Unplug and replug the printer. It is plugged in. I did replug or unplug the entire element as well. So it should be. Ooh, Nightbot getting aggressive there. Let's see. Let's switch back to the local interface and refresh that. And see if we can hook it up locally and do a webcam setup, because I do want to see how the webcam works and if it works at all. Okay, now we can say manually set up. That didn't work a second ago. So it looks very similar to what you're getting on the Formide platform. What's worrying me a bit is that it's still doing detecting printers and not really detecting anything. CI3, save printer, nope. Let's just hammer those in real quick. Heated bed, yeah, I know. We do have a Delta. That's the one we want to try out. Atom extruder, muzzle size I think is 0.4. Wait, that's micron. 400. 750, and we can't save because okay, why does it? Wow, okay. So I guess we're not getting I guess we're not getting a local printer set up right now. At least not the Atom. Let's see if it detects the MK2 at all locally. I guess it should, because I mean it's. Let's try a different USB port as well, just to make sure that's not the issue. But I know this hub is, or this USB hub is working. First, it real quick. Yes, I did just plug the Atom and replug the MK2. And just to make sure the switch isn't, or the USB hub isn't the problem, let's plug the MK2 directly into the element and see if that works locally. Ah, there we go. Found new printer. That's interesting. Printer was disconnected. Let's see if we can reconnect this on the hub. A printer was connected. Okay. So that one it detects. And this one it also. Okay, now it seems to be working. So let's see if we can do the Atom for this. It should still have one connected. Delta 200, 200, no, heated bed, yes, extruder, nozzle size 400, 1050, and save printer. Okay. And there is the Atom. So that one is detected and working, and now we get the webcam button. So let's plug in a webcam and see how that does. I'm going to start out with the Logitech C170 because I know that one works. And we're getting the green light on here. It is an actively powered USB hub. It actually has a 1 amp power supply, which might be part of the problem, but I'm gonna shove that in here. It does have a 1 amp power supply on there, so it does have a bit of extra beef on it. So yeah, power shouldn't be an issue. That is interesting. So I just clicked the webcam button. There's a little live indicator right there, but no webcam image. Let's just refresh that. And see the, there we go. So the webcam is working. Okay, that's a bit of delay plus a bit of jank on it. Let's clip that in here, and you should be getting sort of a view of what the Atom is doing. Let's move it a bit further to the center. Okay, so that webcam is working. That webcam is working. It does have, let's just get my hand in there. It does have a significant delay to it, but it's webcam. There you go. There was like a 10-second lag or something. Technically, it's working. Why can I turn? It's the wrong camera. There we go. So there is that. That works, but of course, that only works locally. That only works on the local interface you get through the direct network connection. So it's not like a main feature like it is in Octoprint to constantly have that webcam on there, because you do have to to pop it out, and I guess it's, you know, with this sort of a small window, it's just to take a quick peek at how your print is doing. For now though, what I did want to do is set up both printers, set up both the Prusa and the Atom on the web interface. So I'm gonna connect the Prusa as well to the hub. So now we have the webcam, the Prusa, and the Atom all connected. And I would just want to see if we can get two printers going at the same time, and just check how well the Element holds up as far as performance goes. So let's just see if we, I guess, oh, showing up twice. I guess we should remove it right here. Delete this one and also delete the second one, because to be honest, if we manage it through Formide through the web interface, we're not really going to be using the local interface with the webcam anyways. So let's just all go through Formide. Let's see, manage printers, and let's add a new 3D printer. Let's hope it keeps that that serial port to 3D printer allocation, because these do show up as pretty much the same device. Let's see if that matches up. Yes, it does. They do show up as a very similar USB device, but of course using the settings for one doesn't work for the other. So we're gonna manually set one up again. So again, this is in the in the Formide web interface. It's 210, I think, or something, and this is like 340 roughly. Normal heated bed 400 1750. Don't turn it on, take it apart. I might actually do that. Because there are just these little clips in here, and you ooh, well, getting in there with a screwdriver might not be easy, but popping it open without any, it's already kind of coming apart. There we go. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that first. That's not connected. Let's do that first, because I think that is yeah, you'll get the notification on screen. Before we do that, let's take a quick look inside, because I kind of do want to see that. Let's go over here. Let's get. I know people from Printr are probably going crazy right now, but that's okay. So as you can tell, it's a toolless procedure. Just press it in the right spots, and it comes apart. So there it is. That's all there is to it. Let's get you guys focused. Maybe zoom in a bit more. There you go. And we can snap it back together, right? So what do we have here? Input, we've got a little reset switch that is accessible through the bottom. I actually did not see that. This PCB is not held in place at all. Okay, so we've got the processor right there. It's a TI processor. We've got RAM right over here, DDR3. It actually says TI Citara and an eMMC, so the 2 GB storage you saw right over there. And over here a PMIC, a Texas Instruments voltage converter. So this is, as far as I can tell from the 3 coils, it's like at least a dual or triple voltage power controller. Over here a 3.3 volt switch mode converter, and then of course the entire Wi-Fi chipset plus antenna up here. And that is practically it. Backside is basically, let's get you guys focused up again. Backside is basically empty, so only the big capacitors for all the parts plus the LED over here, of course. Yeah, that's it. Very, very, very simple hardware. Definitely. Okay, that did. I was satisfying, to be honest. I mean, it is very, very simple hardware. obviously, but nothing wrong with that if it works, right? If it works for the job. It could use a bit more CPU, to be honest, but yeah, maybe a future hardware revision would fix that. Okay. And if you want to rewatch that, if you want to take another closer look at that, you can always rewind through the YouTube functionality, YouTube DVR functionality, just, you know, the regular playback bar. Jump back and forward as you want. Now, having TI components in here just kind of, you know, satisfies my engineering urge, because I know TI does make some pretty good components as far as PMICs and processors and that sort of stuff goes. I like their stuff a lot. It's usually pretty quality hardware. It's not much, it's very simple hardware, but what's in there seems to be pretty good. Okay, now that we've completely scared off everyone from Printr, let's keep going and try to get the two printers going at once. So that's the entire hub replug. Let's zoom you guys out a bit further. There's the element replugged. We still have the hub with the webcam. I guess we can disconnect the webcam, but whatever. Got the Prusa, got the Atom. Let's see if we can actually assign the Atom 3D to... Yep. Let's see if we can actually assign the Atom 3D to FiFather. And I'm hoping it's not going to show up as two USB or as the same... Ooh, wow. It's just two identical TTI ports? Ah. So that is interesting. We've got USB 0, ACM 0, and S1. I don't know if the camera is doing anything, so I'm just going to unplug that for a second. This versus Astrobox. I don't know about the Astrobox. I haven't used it yet, so I cannot comment on whether or not it is worth more or less. Come on. Disconnect? Why is it telling me completely disconnected now? Ooh, the what? Printer's offline now? Both printers are offline now? Let's try that again. Yeah, the Prusa was ACM 0. The Prusa does have a Rambo in there with a custom USB ID, so it should show up slightly different than the other board. This is a MKS based one, which I do not know which the USB component for that is. So it does look like the USB hub here is not cooperating that much. Let's just unplug the supply for that, because that might be causing some issues as well. Just the two printers, because they are self-powered, they should be. Let's turn this one on as well. These two are self-powered, so they shouldn't put that much of a load on the hub and therefore on the element. There we go. Okay, so we've got ACM 0, that was the Prusa, and we've got USB 0, and it's connected. It's saying X2, what is that? X1, extruder 1. So the Atom is apparently reporting two extruders, so the first one at 20, the second one at 19. Okay, somehow it ended up with two. What? Does the... Okay. So apparently the Atom does report two extruders. I hadn't noticed that yet. But let's just save that for now. And realistically, I'm hoping this token up here doesn't give you guys like a sign-in privileges to this account. But well, yeah, Cortex A8 1-core AM335 2 series. One amp might be low enough to cause brown as well. It's working without the power supply. So It works. It's still not showing up as connected to FileFather. USB 0. It is online. Okay, now I would just like to save this. Okay, that looks like it's working. Of course, I mean, this is live. This is just trying things out. This is messing around with the hardware. But of course, for a review of, you know, which of course I'm going to do of this thing, I will take this entire process another, you know, slowly again. I will do it again. I will just try the regular path. Just try setting up a printer, try printing with it. Maybe try adding a second one in a more controlled and relaxed environment, you know, and that's where the actual evaluation will come in. Right, device online. Let's refresh this again because it's still not showing up as connected to FileFather, and it's gone again. If I turn off the webcam, it's gone again. So this one apparently doesn't want to stay connected to that. So, okay. Well, that's not working. So I will try this out again in a more controlled environment. And for now, let's just print that one vase again and see if that. If we can get one print out without having to mess with anything or touch anything, or you know what I mean. There we go. I need to fill the second extruder in before saving the changes. Okay. It's let me just check if this is configured for a second extruder. At least the LCD firmware does not say anything about a second extruder, which might be, which is sort of weird. But I have to check in whether the Atom3D is actually reporting a second extruder incorrectly or not. All right, BF1, I've downloaded it. I need to. Still need to try it out though. Okay, fill in the second extruder, yes. So let's try that. Okay, so manage over here. Printers and manage this one. The USB 0. But the problem is I can't remove it either because apparently blank where let's just set that up in the exact same way just to not trigger any weird checks or something. The problem is it's letting me save it, but it's not actually it's disappearing. It's not giving me an error message, and it's still letting me save it. So let's just try that again with the now we're getting the success right there. So Atom3D FileFather, okay, that's looking better. So I think we might actually be able to use the exact same slicing profile just to get a printout. I mean, it's very similar hardware setups. This one is heating, this one is ready. It's very similar hardware setups and it's very similar materials, so we're just going to try and use the exact same settings. But what to print? There. That's the button I was trying to press. There we go. So the pusher is heating up. I mean, we already saw that it is working in theory and in practice. Let me just see what other prints we have. You guys wanted to see a Pikachu? I think we're gonna make a blue Pikachu. or blue lapras. That would probably make more sense for blue, right? There you go. Did I hit it 5? Okay. So the lapras first gen from Finalizing. Not a benchy. I've print. Do you guys? You guys don't see that? There is a pile of benchies right here. If I move this put out of the way, this region right here, this is all benchies. It's like, if I count, it's probably like 40 different ones, because I do print a benchy on pretty much every printer I test. So I do have plenty of those. I don't need more. Can you post links here? YouTube does remove those, unfortunately. Okay, so let's add. Can I just let's try if I can just drag and drop this in here. Yes, I can. There's our lapras again with the 3D preview. This one should be a lot quicker than the 25 megabyte dicing off vase. So let's slice this thing. Okay, so the Pusher i3 is heating, and so that's busy. The Atom 3D is idle. Let's click that one. Let's use the exact same profile. Let's not do the second extruder. I wish I would be able to just remove this extruder, but it's not letting me. Let's see, in all the advanced settings do seem to be. Wow, this is lagging pretty hard again. Got a skirt, we've got the fan, we've got pretty much everything we need. So let's slice that for this machine. Yeah, Angus popped in, then popped out at the beginning of the stream. It was like midnight for him, so admittedly it was time for bed for him. That's just one of the things. If you live in Australia or in a different time zone, finish slicing. That was good. Different time zones, just you know. I just stopped talking there for a second because the MK2 was kind of stopping and going again, as we just saw on the local web interface, but we are not accessing the local interface at this very moment. We are printing completely through the cloud, but apparently there was something going on with this slice going on at the same time. What? There was something going on with the slicing, and this thing probably downloading it. So yeah, let's see. Okay, so print. Is the print bed cleared? So it does not tell me which printer this is for. I'm hoping this one isn't like. Oh, that's looking good. It's not telling me which printer this is printing on right now. So that would be something that might need to get added later on. Let's continue. Okay, so I'm hoping that's actually going to print on the correct machine on the Atom over there. Why don't I do something that stresses the slicer with supports? So this vase right here, this tiny little vase, is a 25 megabyte file, so it did stress the slicer slicing performance wise. Try saying that. But of course it's not like a super taxing file that needs to have the bridging and support settings all perfectly correct. But of course prints that do require support and do require that exact that exactness as far as the settings go, first of all need the settings set up correctly. So that's something I'm going to have to do in a quiet minute, just copy paste and transfer all the settings from Cura or from Slick3R into Formide. You can import Cura settings directly into Formide and into their slicer. Unfortunately not Slick3R or Simplified 3D profiles yet, but if you have a Cura profile you can just shove that into Formide and have their slicer use the exact same settings as you did before. And of course, when it's about hey Joe, and of course when it's about stress testing something, you do need something to compare against. So I would have to print something with Cura and with the default profiles that come on that come with the printers, and then test it against what the Formide cloud is slicing like. Joe, no need to worry. We're not talking about the MK2. Well, we did talk about the MK2 already, but I'm just using it as like a workhorse printer to mess with, to test the element. Which is a little complaint there. It is a bit too light to actually stand on its own, and just the tension from the USB cable is making it, really want to fall over. So let's see. Let's switch back to the screen cap here again for a second. So the Laplace is switched. I thought I already hit print. This one is printing. Let's try that again. Did I misclick? Did it go somewhere else? Now it's doing something. Where's my hotkeys? There. Right over there, you can see it working. It should have homed itself, if I'm correct. And what it's saying right now is bad heating. That looks good. That looks good. That looks like it might work. Perfect. Okay. So both printers are working. Both printers are working from the same element. That is basically that point proven. I guess it works for that matter. Let's see how much printing a high polygon file on one printer and printing a we actually whatever. We actually sliced it at full size, which is kind of big-ish and says 2 hours, but let's just try it. Let's just see how well it handles having two printers going at the same time. I think I'm actually going to stop the print on the Atom once the MK2 is finished. Can we try 3? We could actually try plugging in the second MK2 or the Turnigy Fabricator or something, but I really don't want to plug more things into the USB hub while these two printers are printing, because as we saw a second ago, it really doesn't work, or it really doesn't like having things connected or disconnected, which I blame on the USB hub at this very moment. So yeah, you guys are asking about Marvins. Let me just show you some Marvins, because I have some Marvins here, coincidentally. So these are, where are my Marvins? There are my Marvins. There's the focus. So these are the two test Marvins from 3D Hubs. This is the 100 micron one, which I posted on Twitter and Google Plus and everywhere about. This one looks fabulous. This is the 50 micron Marvin, which also does look decent, but it has the overhangs right there, and the bottom of the ear is curling up, which is to be expected from such extremely low layer heights. Plus bridging sort of doesn't work. But to be fair, I mean the 100 micron, where's focus? There is focus. The 100 micron, this one over here, Marvin does look pretty much exactly as good resolution wise. So I don't really see any reason to print at 50 microns at all. So yeah, just go with that one. That one looks pretty good. That was printed on the MK2 with completely default settings, no tuning, zero setup at all, just with the Filamentum Rapunzel Silver. And like I said, completely stock default settings, nothing changed at all, nothing tuned, nothing tweaked with. Yeah, let's put this one back here. Right, let's see what the atom is doing. It's still heating the bed, so that is, yeah. Yeah, thought about that's actually Nightbot's job, reminding people to subscribe, like the video, check out the Patreon page, and that sort of thing. I don't think you need to repeat that, but thanks for it anyways. And yeah, if you're enjoying this little experiment with the Element, which is probably driving another manufacturer crazy at this point, then do consider liking this video, subscribing for more videos and stuff, and you know what I do probably. If not, click that. Where is it? Right here, right in this corner of the video. There should be the blue Tom's icon. Click that, and you see all the other stuff I'm doing. So yeah, that would be appreciated. So what are we talking about here, guys? Diodes. Which one can we switch over to give you something more to see? You know what? Wow, I can't rearrange that. I will actually try to rearrange the cameras a bit. We'll pull this one a bit closer. You guys can see what the two printers are doing. There we go. And let's just get the Element in there as well. And I'm hoping the LCDs are somewhat legible. This one is heating the hot end at the moment. Lava vase plus a Pokemon Lapras. That is probably a completely wrong pronunciation, but who careth? And I think I need a second. So you really don't need this at the moment anymore. I do need a second tripod, which I'm going to use this one. Excuse me, coming through. So the Atom 3D is almost heated up, so that might be a success right there. Let's see how well it does once it is actually heated up and does require G-code from the Element. That's going. That's the skirt, obviously. Yep. And that's printing. That is working out pretty well. Okay, my YouTube chat is going crazy at the moment. Excuse me. Okay, let's see if this works. We actually moved the webcam around, so perfect. There's the wow. let's get that one out of here and. Whatever. Speed it up to test USB. I don't think I can actually speed it up to through the web interface, because right now the LCD only shows a status of the prints on both machines, and the element itself. Okay, I'm gonna have to press some buttons now. We don't want that camera, so flat. There. Ah, there we go. Let's see what sort of controls we're getting live from the print. So this is the add-on print. Oh, we can actually do that. I'm running the delta too slow. The delta is actually, the Atom 3D profiles, default profiles are sort of in a mixed state right now. So if you get the Cura profile, the old Cura profile for 15.04, you've got it set at 30 millimeters a second. If you get the new Cura profile, you get a profile that is set up for 60 millimeters a second. What I can tell you right now about the Atom is that the extruder does not like higher feed rates. So if you really push it at higher layer heights, you do end up with a skipping extruder. But well, let's just try. So we've got this is controls for the Atom. So we've got it set up at 40 millimeters a second by default. So let's just crank it at 150. Can I type in here? Please? Yes. I'm hoping this doesn't... Okay, let's just use the slider, because if I type in here, it's going to set it to 1%, and that's going to take forever for a while. So it just skipped a bit there. It did take a second to think, but now it's a direct drive extruder with a 12 millimeter MK style gear. So that's better, that's faster, right? 150, and it's still looking decent. Still looking like a good print. Flow rate figure is funny. Oh yeah, the animation right there, I guess. 300%, I don't know how quickly I actually want to push it before it starts giving up, because I know with PLA, with regular PLA, it works relatively well, but with 300%, the people want 300%. We can actually crank it up to 500. But I know the extruder is very close to skipping if you're printing like in PLA, which is a high temperature PLA and translucent one, or Invent or other filaments that need a higher temperature, because apparently the hot end doesn't really like to go to those higher temperatures that well yet. I still have to figure that out. But for PLA, let's just try this, okay? Let's just try this. Let's slowly crank this up, and while we crank it up, keep an eye on the delta effector, if that starts stopping, or if you kind of hear the delta motion stopping, because you can't hear it actually. Let's just see. Come on. I just dragged you. Come on. Can we click here? There we go. I mean, that sounds better, right? Cura is garbage? Cura is not garbage. Cura is okay for support. I mean, Cura does do support. And the support kind of works. Not that Slick VR is any better. I still have to really bench out the new Cura, the Cura 2, how well the support functionality in that works. So as expected, the print on the MK2 is looking pretty good, but it's also going like really slow compared to what we're seeing on the Atom. Looks like we're getting some bouncy artifacts, but let's see. Let's crank this one up a bit more. 300 reps. And as you can see, my browser is actually slowing down quite a bit. It's doing a few things that yeah, I'm not entirely happy with, but yeah. Atom is running slow for a Delta? No, it's not. You don't really want to run every printer at like insane something's clicking. I think that's the extruder. I'll have to check. You don't have to run every Delta at 200 millimeters a second. Plus, most hot ends don't really handle the speeds that well unless you use something like a Vulkan or a Volcano. Sorry, not a Vulkan. That's a different thing. Don't use Vulkans as your hot end. If you use a Volcano for your hot end, then you can use those speeds 24/7, but even then you're going to run into mechanical issues where you're getting overswings and ripples and stuff. So do not try 500% flow rate. Well, I might try 500% print speed. Flow rate might mess a few things up, but for now let's just see how far we can push the Prusa i3. Ooh, I'm hoping the stream is still like, you know, not. I hope the stream is still consistent for you guys, because as you were able to see right there, my Windows is like not happy right now. I don't know if it's the Formide interface or anything, but it's like it's getting really choppy. So let's just. We also had the. So the problem with the Prusa right now is minimum layer speed. So if I crank it up, I think I'm gonna run into melting issues on the part itself. Right now, print speed is like what 20 millimeters a second. So yeah, let's just see how well the cooling fan on the MK2 does. Can I get this one in here as well? Yeah. Sorry. There you go. So these two are hanging on pretty well. Where's my cursor? Nope. That's the B that I wanted to hit. And that's the other B that I wanted to hit. Yeah. And OBS, why have thou forsaken me? That's a good spot. 90 millimeters a second, that's pretty fast already. Well, the flow rate, I don't know, you don't really want to change the flow rate at all. You should be tuning that in your slicer, not live adjusting it to 500%. If you have to, there is something seriously wrong with your slicing profile. So I don't know why that goes to 500%. 500% speed, I can understand, but flow rate, not really. Yeah, so this one is looking pretty okay still, actually. Unless your extruder is out of calibration, yes, but then you don't set it in the live adjustment thing. You know what? Find all the buttons. Let's just do this. Let's just, you know, let's go to 500. And you know what? This one. Browser can't handle it. There we go. Let's also like crank this one to 500 because why not? Because why not? So let's put it over there. So that should be a maximum printing speed of 200 millimeters a second on the add-on, plus also 200 millimeters a second on the Prusa. But of course, I think not the add-on not so much, but the Prusa is still limited by what the Formide client set for minimum layer time. So it's still slowed down compared to what it would be doing at those speeds. Yeah, Adam's jerk limit. That's not jerk. That is just acceleration on the smaller details. To be honest, I do prefer 3D printers set up with a lower acceleration setting, because if you really push them on acceleration plus speed as well, you do get pretty hard artifacts on on the edges, that sort of ringing that we're talking about. That's something you will get on any printer, even on a Delta, because every effector, every motor has some sort of well, every effector has weight. Every motor and belt system has a flexibility. So as the hot end slows down and speeds up, it will ring. It will create those ripples, and turning down the acceleration settings does help with that. It's about breaking records now. I guess the best way to break records would be to have a print that is actually made for. Yeah, I can actually hear the extruder clicking. The best way to break a record would probably be to print something like a base, something like the there it is, something like the Dynamo 3D came with as an example. G-code that just has one continuous layer and just can do very, very smooth moves, so it doesn't have to do corners like the Lapras model is. The Lapras model is a very low polygon model, so it does have a lot of edges where it needs to stop and re-accelerate. Oh, that's a good question, Karen. Can you type out G-code commands in Formide? Actually, have a look at that. That thing is going absolutely crazy. Can I type out G-code commands in Formide? So there is a nerd mode, which I'm hoping I'll find. There is a nerd mode setting, which I did try out. It might be in here actually, and it gives you sort of a console-like interface. Enabled here. Let's see if I can find that. Nope. Though when I tried it on Printr's machine, on the one that they let me demo. I tried it there, and it doesn't seem to be a straight-up G-code console. It does sort of, it does translate the commands you put into G-code. So you're not directly typing in 500%. I read Joe's message 500%. You're not typing in directly G28 or G29 or G1 or something. You basically type in the commands that I guess the Formide cloud is sending to the elements to control your 3D printers. So, yeah. But I have no idea where this setting might reside at the moment. So I can't really show it to you guys at this very second. you can't push G-code in fast enough to MK2 over serial to get the 500% speed. Well, it has an SD slot. You should just use the SD card. Hardware-wise, I mean, it should be able to do it, especially with the rewritten version of Marlin in there. That seems to be a good bit faster than... What was that? It seems to be a good bit faster than the standard. Is that the spool here? Hopefully not. What was I going to say? Yeah, the Marlin does seem to be a good bit faster than what you're typically getting on a 3D printer, so it should be able to handle quite a bit of throughput through the SD card. Webcam fell? Oh, right, we've got this weird beacon in here. Actually not a webcam, that's another G7. Dip processor, small buffers, yeah. That's one of the points where we were running into the limits of the 8-bit processors, I think. Of course, you can do a whole lot with very, very smart programming, but 8-bit is just like... we're pushing it so far already. Do you have 308 already? No, I do not have 308 already. It's still 307 on here. We'll be updating that after I publish the Atom 3D review. I do have to stay chronological. I don't want to like mix up which order I tackle reviews. Atom first, then the MK2, which does give me a bit more time to play with the MK2 before I have to like get a definite conclusion on it, because there is a lot to the MK2 that is worth exploring, definitely. So one thing I can already see on the Lapras. Let me scoot you guys in a bit. What I can already see is it's getting very, very stringy, which is I guess just the default settings on this slicer setup basically. There's that. Actually move it around so you can see the stringies back here. Maybe. Okay, I'm running out of HDMI cable. That's not good. But over here, the Prusa i3, of course. I mean that's only doing a single perimeter with basically no retracts and restarts. So. That's not really a challenging print for the printer. Easy multicolor printing, yes. Yeah, it's basically filament splicing. You remove one filament, you put in another one, and there's Prusa does provide tools to make that process easier than just manually pausing the printer and pulling out the filament. How does the Atom cool the prints? It has two small fans right here on the sides. It's like what is it? Radial fans, super slim ones, and those screw down cold air directly onto your printed part. Alright, so to get back to the element itself, it seems it's handling the load from spewing out G-code to two printers at the same time pretty well. I mean, I don't see any of the printers stopping or taking a breath, thinking about things for a second. It seems to be doing pretty well, especially the harder one to print right now is the one that the MK2 is printing, because this one, like I said, this is a 25 megabyte STL file, so it is extremely high polygon. There is an extreme amount of G code involved in here. Actually, let me try downloading the G code and see how big that is. You see, you can download that directly from the Formide platform. It does allow you to download the G code to slice. If you have low powered internet, you might have trouble with multiple printers. Actually not. So the storage on the Element is 2 gigabytes, as I just saw. That should be enough to store quite a few prints. So the way it works is it doesn't live stream. It doesn't stream the G code to the Element. It actually downloads it before you start printing. It completely downloads it onto the Element, saves it right there. That's what that 2 gigabyte flash is for, and then streams it from that flash over USB to the printer. So you don't really need to have the best internet connection. You do need to have some internet connection to control it through Formite, but you don't need 4 gigabytes. Okay, I misread that. But you don't need to have a permanently available and high-speed connection while you're printing. So that's I think a better solution than streaming it down, because you're not always going to have the best internet connection. You start watching some 4K content and all of a sudden your 3D printer stops. That would not be good, and that's not what's going to happen with the Element. So let me just see if I can download the G code, like I said. The only problem is my laptop is not happy right now. It is mostly Firefox eating up CPU, and that is... Well, I guess it's the Formite interface. I'll have to really look into that, where the load comes from. Can you stop a print via the service? Yes, you can. Well, actually, we just switched it over because I got the window open anyways. Hotkeys. So up here is the controls for the Prusa i3 MK2. We've got, I don't know what that is. We've got pause and stop buttons right there. So if we head over here, we got the print that is going on that exact print at the moment. Pause, stop, and we can also live control it with the speed dials and fan speeds and all that sort of stuff, and of course live tweak temperatures, which might come in helpful at times. Does this whole setup work with custom printers? Yes, it does. In fact, the two machines that I set up for the what was I going to say? The two machines that I set up, the Prusa MK2 and the Atom 3D, are not supported out of the box by Formide. I did have to set them up manually, which basically means giving the slicer the rough parameters of the printer, and yeah, that's basically it. You give it the rough parameters of your printer and then it generates G-code for it. So yes, it works with any 3D printer that shows up as a serial port, as most 3D printers do, so including your custom built ones. What was the other question? Yep. So the other question was not related to format, but to realistic print time estimations. So the most realistic estimations I've been getting so far are the ones that Cura spits out. As far as I know, you can actually load G-code into Cura and get a time estimate for that, and it uses some default acceleration values. I don't think it actually reads. If you put in custom acceleration values into G-code, I don't think it actually reads that. But the other one is gcode.ws, and I think that one does consider your custom acceleration settings. So I'm not 100% sure. So gcode.ws, that's a web page you can upload your G-code to, and those time estimates are pretty close for what I've experienced with them so far. So it's like plus minus 10%, and that already factors in heating times. So you're pretty well off if you just use the gcode.ws estimates. Yes, you can upload your own G-code and bypass the slicing. You can upload STLs or ready-made G-code from your own slicers and bypass the format slicer, but you can also download the format G-code to your local PC, computer, whatever, and then print that manually. So if you just want to use the online slicer, you can do that, but if you don't want to use the online slicer but still use format, you can also do that. Now, what the two programs that came to mind when trying to click Joe's link here, the two programs that came to mind when we had, holy crap, that is some awesome monitoring. The two programs that came to mind when I thought about the Element were, of course, one Octoprint, but also BotQ. I don't know if you guys know about that, but Chuck Hilken's platform BotQ is sort of really close to what Formide is doing, but it's not as direct and as local as Octoprint is. Just connecting a single printer to a single Raspberry Pi and then connecting to it through Ethernet. It's more like what Formide is doing, giving you an online platform that you upload your STLs to, and then your printers, your individual printers, pull down their files and print them. So more akin to what we've got here. So that's, if you guys know BotQ, I've used it a few years ago. It looks like it's dead, but it's still being developed apparently. But there's no one using it. I don't know why. It seems to be like a good platform. And I've been really liking it, having that approach of having a single, unified interface to control all of your 3D printers is always something I found interesting. Especially if you have more than one machine going at the same time, or just need to get out a lot of prints in a short time. Then having something like that, like Formide, like BotQ, is kind of a neat solution for that, instead of running around with SD cards all day, or uploading to different instances of Octoprint. Up to three printers. So the up to three printers, up to three 3D printers, is that a hard limit in software, or is that just we might run out of performance if we do more than that? Because I feel like, judging by how fluent two printers work, I feel like three wouldn't be that much of an issue at all. Yeah, so question came up, did I ever calibrate my delta with measuring tower offsets, etc.? Nope, haven't done that. So I only have two deltas. I have the Atom, which I've had for a week. Was it last week? Did we build that last week? I think we did. Did we? No, we did the MK2 last week. So I've had that one for 2 weeks, and then also the Zabriskie one, which is off frame right now. So the Atom obviously is a very sturdily built, ready-built box with very tight parameters as far as arm length and tower offsets and all that sort of stuff goes. But so I didn't have to calibrate that one. That one came ready to go after the build, of course. And the Zabriskie, a custom-built one that was built relatively close to specs to what the CAD drawing looks like. Then it's been auto-calibrated through SmoothieWare, so I've never had to go through the apparently painful process of manually adjusting that. So yeah. What about SLS? SLS. So SLS is still sort of too expensive, I think. I guess the cheapest SLS, so selective laser sintering machines, I guess would be the, what's it called? I covered it on FabCon. It's still 5,000 euros, and that's only printing now, so it's not printing metal. So the only real advantage is getting a better resolution. So not sold on that already, not sold on that yet. But I really want to see DIY laser sintering for metals, and once we get that, I think we're gonna have like another huge push in what 3D printing can do. Yes, Sintrotech, that's the one. Thanks. And it's still only plastic. SLA, on the other hand, selective laser. Is it? I don't know what SLA stands for. Basically, resin-based printers. That's what everyone probably knows them as. They have come a long way, and I will ask some of the SLA manufacturers in the near future to provide a sample unit that I could try out, because it does really look like a very promising technology. A big step up from what we're getting on filament-based machines. Not that the filament-based machines are bad. They do have very good applications, but SLA just has its own set of applications as well. So yeah, that, and of course for FDM printers, for FFF printers, regular ones, having dual extrusion, particularly dual extrusion with soluble support materials, that I think is a huge thing. Once someone gets it implemented right, not like with two hot ends that need like a huge priming tower and ooze all over the place, but with some other solution, I think that is really going to add a huge value to our common 3D printers, and to what they can do, what sort of things you can print with them, and improve that experience a whole lot as well. Because right now you're mostly designing your parts for the 3D printer to make it printable on that exact machine, which I feel is kind of limiting at times. And having that possibility of soluble support material where you basically throw your part into water when it's done, will really make that technology a whole lot more powerful. Okay, so it looks like the MK2 is almost done. Yeah, you can print metal parts, lost PLA, but that's not really printing anymore. That's more like using 3D printing for casting, but it takes a whole lot away from That's done. It takes a whole lot away from what 3D printing is, from being that rapid prototyping or rapid manufacturing. It's just not what I associate with 3D printing. So let's see. So the first print has finished. Again, this was done with no calibration, the wrong print profile, 500% speed, and well, I guess it's a 3D print, right? It's like, it's not pretty. It's not particularly pretty. So I guess if we actually did print this on regular settings, it would be looking a bit nicer. But of course, right now it's being printed with like extremely fast. Get it out there. Stream wanted to see 500%. Okay, settings. Where's my type? There we go. Whoops, I'm sorry. We just froze up. Where's my I'll give that thing a new battery real quick. Leave the MK2 slow? Well, it's done. Move that here. Let's see, so the add-on to these at 78%. Let's just close that window and see if my laptop gets a bit of fresh air, because it is really slow. Okay, so apparently the Formide web interface does eat a lot of CPU in the browser. So it was taking about, a full CPU core in Firefox. Might be different in Chrome or something. But of course, I mean, that's something I'll have to really check out on the big PC, maybe not while streaming at the same time. The stringing is real. Yes, the stringing is very real. Shadow. Can you zoom in? Oh yeah, I can zoom in. There's the stringies. All the stringies. Yeah, so which browser would be recommended? Probably something like Chrome, I guess. Would make sense. Maybe not Firefox. Yeah, of course, I mean, again, this was printed with settings for a direct drive extruder for the Felix whatever something version. This is a Bowden extruder, so it would need more retract. So that is neither the printers nor the Formide Cloud's fault. That is all my fault. Yeah. And as far as the camera goes, I only have a power supply for one of them, which is the one on top. This one. Where's the lens? There's the lens. Where's the lens? There. That camera I have a power supply for. This one I do not, so I still need to get one for that. Chrome or Safari? Let's try Chrome. And see how much CPU that uses. I mean, Chrome does like to use a lot of RAM and CPU and stuff. Let's just try that out. Safari for Mac, well, we can also get Safari for Windows. if you want. Here. Yeah. Robert Klauko, yeah. Crappy i3 from China prints worse at 100% speed. It's not like I didn't tell you guys, you know. Don't buy the cheap Chinese kit. Wait, is Safari for Windows not a thing anymore? I thought it was like, what? I probably missed something there. Okay, so we've got the web interface open in Chrome, and that seems to be a bit better. It's like 10. Let me just show you guys. At the there we go. OBS, of course, hogging CPU like crazy, but Chrome at 15%, and all Chrome does is there's a YouTube chat window open on the other one, and there's this this window which has the progress indicator over here open as well. So Chrome really isn't doing a whole lot, and I feel like it's eating too much CPU for for just this interface. Let's just see. So we've got CPU G. Oh, wow. Tab format. Okay, so that tab is in fact eating up 10% CPU, which is out of 100, out of 25, which would be a full CPU core. Yeah, just for this 10%. Seems a bit much. Seems like there's still some potential for optimization, I guess. Try Firefox. I have it open in Firefox, and Firefox it actually ate a full CPU core and made everything pretty much unusable. Results of calibrate XYZ for the MK2. Well, it told me, hey, your axis is severely skewed. Should we correct it? And I was like, yeah, I'll correct it, and that's perfect. It was perfect. Nothing to complain about. All right, so let's get you guys a look at the. Let's get you guys a look at the print from the slicer. Of course, at 500% the recommended flow rate. Ooh, the Atom just paused. I guess that kind of looks okay, but I mean, it was a pretty hard corner case that we did there. So, yeah. Wait, XYZ on the pre-build? I will try that. Okay. Ah, it's so nice and quiet now. Oh. Okay. That actually looks surprisingly good. Put you guys in here. Right there. So that actually looks pretty nice, I'd say. Especially if we're going up to 500, if we're going to, past recommended speeds, of course, stringies and stuff, yes, but that's retract settings. Let's head around here. You can get some reflections going on here. Where's focus? There's focus. Okay. There's that. That looks decent. So just for scale, there's a finger. That sort of looks kind of really decent. All right. So let's back this thing back out here. Okay. So, is there anything else I missed about the Formide platform, or the element itself? We cracked it open. We had a look inside. And we don't need the webcam there as well. I should move in closer to get in focus. It's slow for a Delta. Yes, the accelerations, I guess we should crank up a bit, but that's just factory settings, and I like to print. I like to test the printers at their factory default. Yeah, but it is slow for a Delta, which does make for sharp corners, I have to admit. It's always a trade-off: faster accelerations or cleaner prints, and I always prefer cleaner prints. Yes, the Dynamo 3D was the 16 or 14 kilohertz noise. But that was the, if you guys haven't seen it, the article on Hackaday recently about stepper motors and microstepping, that one is really interesting, and you should probably check it out if you haven't done so already. That really teaches you a lot about how stepper drivers work, about what sort of the typical issues are. Yeah, but these two machines, every stepper driver is going to have some sort of a whine, but these two aren't that bad at all. They make some noise. Yes, you can hear the stepper motors enabled, but it's not as severe as the Dynamo 3D, which was like you enter the room and it's instantly like, don't want to listen to this. Yeah, but I guess that is the demo of the element and the first use and stuff. I know I should have taken it a bit slower as far as adding printers and webcams, and especially with this USB hub. I'm not happy with how much trouble this cost. But yeah, the web experience, the core experience of having a cloud controlled the cloud controlled 3D printers does work. I do find it interesting. I do think it's a good concept. It's a bit expensive at 200 euros, yes, but you're not paying for the hardware. The hardware is not the hardware isn't special. Let's face it. We've cracked it open. You can scroll back to that. The hardware really isn't special. It's basically a Raspberry Pi with a different processor. But the entire platform around it, that's what matters, and the mostly plug and play. Well, plug and play for most printers. That really does add the value. Now, the one thing I would really appreciate Printr doing is adding more pre-configured printers, because that's also something I always point out in the reviews, or at least something that I always look for. The MK2 does it beautifully. The Atom 3D 2.0 does it a bit less beautifully, or doesn't do it at all. Is providing the printer with the user with a ready-to-go configuration. So the Prusa i3 gives you that slicer, that Slick 3R pre-configured one with all the materials and all the layer heights pre-configured, which is what I showed you a minute ago, which gives you which one is it? This one. Which gives you, there it is, and let's get the focus, that sort of a print quality with the stock profiles, and just having that is a huge value to any product, whether it's a 3D printer or a cloud device, and especially since Formide does need to handle slicing as well. I feel like you should have good default profiles for the separate 3D printers in there as well. But that's just going to be something that Printr will need to work out with the device manufacturers or with the printer manufacturers to get as many as possible integrated. Yeah. So one more thing on the charger. I'll show you. So we did have a bit of a problem with the power supply for the hub or something. This is a 2 amp 5.0 volt charger. If you can get a 5.2 volt charger for a Raspberry Pi, that's already going to give you a head start. Yeah, 5.1 volt or 5.2 volt. There is a bit of a voltage drop on the input fuse, and if you can compensate for that with a charger that has a bit of a higher input voltage to start with, you're not going to damage anything, but it's just going to give you that bit of extra headway to keep things working. All right. But this was a 5 volt adapter, plus there is a switch mode, PMIC, power management IC in here. So the element itself shouldn't really be that sensitive to what sort of charger you use, but it's let me just take another look inside. From what I've seen, let me just take a look. It might actually boost the USB voltage up to no, it does not. Okay, so it appears like the USB plug is directly connected, at least with a relatively beefy capacitor inside. So there's the hardware again. Let's zoom that out a tiny bit because we don't really need it that closely in. So there's the power in, there's a somewhat decent capacitor in there, and there's the power out. There's like no switch mode converter that boosts the output voltage of the USB plug. But of course, the PMIC here that supports, and the 3.3 volt B supplier that supports all the ICs on here. So the processor in here shouldn't really care about what sort of a voltage it gets, whether it's clean, whether it's dirty, whether it's 4.5 volts or 5.5. It should all work. But of course, if you have a sensitive printer control board, that's gonna feed off the same voltage. Though to be honest, most Arduino board or AVR based, Arduino based printer control boards really don't care about their input voltage either, so you should be pretty good on that front. Okay, most links are disabled for spam protection. Yes, too bad. All right, so I guess that concludes today's stream. So can I get Nightbot? No shot. No. Yeah, if you enjoyed this rundown of the element, if you thought it helped you in getting a perspective on what the element is and what it is not, then do consider subscribing, liking, all those things I say at the end of the video. There are also links in the video description to stream tip if you want to send me a tip for the stream. If you're quick about it, you can get it on camera on tip alert. That should show up right there. And yeah, other than that, new videos coming up next week, or this week, or whichever day your first day of the week is. For me, it's Monday, so that would be next week. Got a few videos planned, so the Atom 3D review will be coming out next week, hopefully, and then the MK2 the week after that. And yeah, plus a few other videos that I cannot talk about yet, but you just have to wait and see. So, as always, thanks for coming along for the ride. It was a bit longer than I expected, so we did 5 hours. I was expecting to do like 3, but of course having the prints going and then not wanting to stop them does add a bit to the time. What's up for the next live stream? I think if I get the time to prepare it, I am going to do that basics tutorial running through CAD design, slicing, printing, and just giving an overview of the entire process, plus a bit of CAD teaching, I guess. Not specifically like how to use this or that CAD tool, but thanks for the tip, Maciej Janowski. Not specifically for how to use a one specific CAD tool, but for how to approach the entire thing of designing your own parts and what the thought process for that is roughly. Yeah, so that's what I think would be nice for next weekend. Until then, I'll see you on regular content on YouTube. And thanks everyone again for being here. And yeah, over and out.